Matt, if you had a mutant power, what would it be?
Wow, I'm not ready for that at all. What would yours be?
Catching people off guard.
Mine would have to be being prepared for any question.
Uh,
That's terrible. I don't want that.
You know, we should probably our mutant power should probably be better openings for our show.
Or watching clips.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming. With this weapon, there will be no human collateral damage. If I turn it on, the system couldn't even activate in here. Unless there's a mutant. What are you?
Ah, yes, the X-Men, my personal favorite members of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Really?
Yes, love them.
Why?
Because, for the most part, their story is, it's told through different mediums. You had TV shows, cartoons, all that stuff. This one, it's great because, with the exception of X-Men The Last Stand, which is one of the worst movies, regardless of genre, I've ever seen, this series has been done properly, and they rebooted it, but then decided that they were going to tack, the original X-Men movie franchise into this new one, and it's fantastic. First Class, I liked a lot. I don't know, what did you think?
I like First Class a lot,
Yeah.
and a lot of people regard X2 as the best of this series.
I would be one of those people.
I would put First Class pretty close to that. That might be a toss-up for me. You're right, The Last Stand is terrible. Ultimately, there have just been a lot of X-Men movies when you have the Wolverine origin stories. I feel like there's going to be other characters that have origin stories too, right? Do you know who's next for
Deadpool
that?
or something like that, I think.
It just never stops.
Right.
So yes, this is another X-Men movie, and it does, I guess some people will be excited to combine the characters from First Class with the other X-Men movies. So was I excited about that? But you are.
I'm definitely excited. And it's interesting because you have two different views of the same universe, and so it's kind of fun to kind of say like, hey, original X-Men universe, you kind of have to step your game up now because First Class was so good. I like that.
I guess.
Yeah. So yes, we mentioned it previously. This is another sequel. So Matt, what did you think about this latest installment in the X-Men franchise, I guess?
Ernest, I think at this point it's hard to still deliver the same fun, the same freshness that you can get out of a franchise when it's launching or even going into a new section of what it's trying to do, that's part of the reason why First Class was so good. Right. It was also Matthew Vaughn, a filmmaker I didn't really think a ton of beforehand, but he came in and really put his stamp on it. It was nice to see all these new faces, the new characters. Right. But with this one, it feels like any other comic book movie. There's a ton of plot going on, very Terminator-esque in terms of going back in the past in order to change the future. And the story is just not well told. The action sequences are fine, but it just feels like going into any other comic book movie. I mean, it's better than The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but what isn't? Blended isn't. Blended really, really isn't.
One of the things I like the most about the X-Men movies, and something that kind of differentiates itself from like the Avengers and those kind of flicks, is you have all these specific characters that have their own kind of fan bases. You got the Wolverine people, you got the folks who like Professor X, the Magneto folks. I mean, talk to me about the characters in this movie. I mean, I know that they have to kind of mush two casts together. Did it work out okay?
That is a really hard challenge because even in a 2 hour or 2 hour and 10-minute movie, to have all these characters, it's really tough for anyone to actually contribute. So I feel like a lot of this movie, and this is something where comic book fans will get more out of this than someone. I go into this totally unbiased. I could like it, I might not, but I'm not going to like it because, I remember that character from the comic book, and even if he's on screen for 20 seconds, I don't care because I remember that. That doesn't do it for me. In this movie, there are a lot of times that happens, and that's not anything new for comic book movies. There are some, Michael Fassbender gets a little bit of a chance to shine, James McAvoy a little bit, but at the same time, there's so much going on, especially when you're going back and forth between, the present and the past and everything like that, and we see, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart and Halle Berry and all these people fighting in this terrible war where the mutants are about to be killed, and we go into the past. There's just so much going on. So that's a long answer to your question. Do they do it well? No.
You were mentioning previously, you got Michael Fassbender in here. You got Jennifer Lawrence reprising her role as Mystique. They didn't bring back Rebecca Romaine Stamos. Thank you. I mean, Romaine Stamos. Romaine. I don't know who she is anymore. She's a person.
The double Romaine. My favorite.
It's tricky. But, okay, so there's a lot of big names in this. And I don't think, you look at Ian McKellen, you look at Patrick Stewart, you got some top flight actors in this movie with a capital A. I mean, do they lend some gravity to what would otherwise be known as like a popcorn movie?
That's such a great point. But it's also the case where, like, when there's someone as good as a Michael Fassbender or a Jennifer Lawrence, people who've gotten a lot of Oscar attention in the last few years, Fassbender not nearly as much as he deserves, they're totally wasted in something like this. I really like the contributions people were able to make in X-Men First Class, but in a movie like X-Men Days of Future Past, there's just not enough time to shine. So, yeah, you'll have a scene or two where they really do stand out, and you can, I think the casting is good. Those people are right in those roles. But you still look at it and say, do we need someone of Michael Fassbender's skill or Jennifer Lawrence's skill to play this role? They might be right for it, but let's let them work at the top of their potential.
So you're saying they're slumming it?
No, I wouldn't say that, because the casting is right and the movie isn't awful. I mean, there have been times where you do see people who get a lot of awards attention or highly praised taking just stupid roles in stupid movies. This is not one of those times, but you still say, like, I could do with a lot more of these people.
It's a very, very special mutant power edition of our final question. Matt Pais, X-Men, Days of Future Past, good or what?
Ernest, I hate disappointing you. You love the X-Men.
I do.
We could talk about it afterwards, and I don't know. I might buy you some ice cream or something, because
I'd like that.
But X-Men Days of Future Past, I wanted to like it. Going in after X-Men First Class, I was totally up for it, despite my admitted total exhaustion with mediocre comic book movies. But no, this one did not work for me.
I wish my real mutant power was the ability to not feel feelings.
But who wants to live that way?
It's true. That was deep. All right, folks. That wraps up this edition of Good or What. My name is Ernest Wilkins.
I'm Matt Pais.
We'll see you next time.